All right. Good morning, mathematicians. This is Mrs. Shopper coming to you with Chapter 7, Ratios and Proportions is going to be our first section. And there are 7 sections in this chapter. It's going to move pretty quick, so be ready for a ride. Here we go. All right, we're talking about ratios and proportions. And so just some vocab for you to write down. Ratio is a comparison of quantities using long division. So some of our more common ratios would be like 50 miles per hour. Okay, that's a ratio. Okay, you're comparing two quantities, 50 miles per hour. An extended ratio, this is probably something new to you. And that's something that we'll be using in geometry, but it might be like 1:2 as 3:6 as 9:18. So in comparing just two quantities, we're, the extended ratio, or it might be something like, think about in a Pythagorean's theorem, trying in a Pythagorean triple, you've got 3 to 4 to 5. So you're comparing 3 or 4 or 5 quantities, where a ratio just compares 2. So that's the difference between them. And we're going to be playing around with that today and for this unit. Okay. So here we go. Here's just a practice with a ratio. This takes us back to 7th grade, back to 8th grade. Just a good review to kind of get us started. So the number of students who participated in sports programs at Central High School is 520. Okay. The total number of students is 1850. Find the athlete to student ratio to the nearest 10th. Okay. So we have 520 athletes to 1,850 students. And basically what we want to do is get it to a unit rate. So we're going to take 520 divided by 1850. Okay. And to the nearest 10th, so it's 0.3 athletes per student. So it's about a third. Okay. Now this next problem is going to bring up an extended ratio. Okay. So here we go. The ratio of the measurements of the sides of a triangle is 6 to 7 to 9. Okay. The three sides, 6 to 7 to 9. And its perimeter is 77. We want to find the measure of each side of that triangle. So we know that we're 6 to 7 to 9 and that the perimeter is 77. So that's my important information. Okay. So I know that when I add these three sides together, they need to equal 77. What I need to do is figure out what's the multiplier. What do I need to multiply the 6, the 7, and the 9 by? So when I add those three values, then I'm going to get 77. So how I'm going to write that out is 6x plus 7x plus 9x. What do I multiply each of these parts by so that I get to 77? Okay. So 9 plus 7 is 16, plus 6 is 22. So 22x equals 77. That means my multiplier is going to be 7 halves. So to find the lengths of each of those sides, I'm going to take 6 times 7 halves. I'm going to take 7 times 7 halves. And I'm going to take 9 times 7 halves. So 6 times 7 halves is going to be 21. 7 times 7 halves is going to be 24.5. And 9 times 7 halves is going to be 31.5. So these are my three side lengths. And then to verify, I can just add them together to make sure they equal 77. So 2, 6, 7, 2, 2, 3 is 77. So these are. So what I need to find is that common multiplier. What do I multiply all of them by so that I get a total of 77? Let's take a look at another example of an extended ratio. In a triangle, the ratio of the measures of the angles is 5 to 12 to 13. Okay, so my ratio is 5 to 12 to 13. I know that the total needs to equal 180 degrees. Okay, so now what I need to do is figure out what's my multiplier. 5 times what plus 12 times that same number plus 13 times that same number needs to equal 180. So 17, so I have 30x is equal to 180. So x equals 6. So my multiplier is 6. So 5 times 6 is 30. That's one of my angle measurements. 12 times 6 is 72. That's my second side. Second side. Let's get the numbers right, correct? And then I've got 13 times 6, which is going to be 78. And when I add those all together, then I'm going to get 180 degrees. 180 degrees, okay? So I need to find out my common multiplier. All right, the ratio of the angles of a triangle is 3 to 5 to 7, okay? What I'd really like you to do is pause the video, try it, and then unpause the video and come back and see how you did, okay? All right, you gonna pause it? Okay, here we go. So 3 times something plus 5 times something plus 7 times something equals 188, okay? So 15 and 7 is 22x equals 180. So 180 divided by 22. Let me see if I added that right. 8. Nope, I didn't add that correctly. Shoot. How about we make it 15? That would be a better number. All right. So x equals 12. That's my multiplier. That's what I'm going to multiply all of those by. So 3 times 12, that's 36 degrees. 5 times 12, that's 60 degrees. 7 times 12, that's 84 degrees. And so what we end up with then is a total of 180 degrees, which is what we need. So these are my 3 angles. All right, so the other piece I want to talk to you about is a proportion, okay? And you've heard proportions before. You've talked about them in 7th grade. You talked about them in algebra with direct variation functions. They're proportional. So when x is 0, y is 0, but then they go up or decrease at the same rate, they're proportional. And so solving a proportion, we call it cross products, okay? One thing that's new with the vocab is you've got your extremes and you have your means. So that's the newness with this, is understanding the extremes and the means, okay? So let's go through a couple examples of this. Here we go. So we're going to do cross products to solve for x. Oops, there's a little bit of delay. There it is. We're going to do cross products, which we're going to be solving for x. So we're going to have 6 times the quantity 4x minus 5 is equal to 3 times the quantity negative 26. So 24x minus 30 is equal to negative 78. We'll add 30 to both sides. We're going to get that 24x equals negative 48. So x equals negative 2. Okay. Same thing, we're going to be using cross products. We cross multiply. You did cross multiply and divide, or you just set up an equation multiplying your extremes equal to the product of your means, okay? So 6x is equal to 9 times 18.2. So 18.2 times 9 is 163.2. Divide by 6. So x is going to equal 27.3. Right? All right. I think we're doing okay on these. I don't see the need to hang on to the video much longer. If you have more questions, please let me know what you need. The assignment is listed right here. Thanks all. Oh my gosh, excuse me. See you soon. Bye-bye.